This is Bob speaking to you from my farmette in the Annapolis County of Nova Scotia. This is part 3 of my Bluenose build. I didn't look at part 2 before I did this, and perhaps I should have. I forget exactly what I said in part 2, so I'm likely to go over things a couple of times and leave some things out, but you'll understand where I'm going with this. I don't know if anybody's following me on this. It's okay if nobody does, because I like to talk to myself anyway, and I guess that's what I'm doing. But I did say last time that before I came back, I was going to finish my stern filler block, I got that one right, and my bow filler blocks. And I have done those. I'm very pleased with them. Once I got the patterns cut out, remember how I tried to tell you, cut both profiles out at the same time, and you had very little sanding to do. That worked beautifully. I'm most impressed with the transom on the stern of this boat. The big one that I did that perhaps you saw in my first video didn't have a good transom, and I fretted over it the whole time I was building it. This one I like, so I'll just show it to you here. I hope this is in the shot. I never really know, but you see, there's the transom right there. You know, it's nice and smooth. It's a nice rounded shape. Has a return on it even. It's coming up and kind of rounding over. And I really do like the slope of the transom. I was worried about that. I didn't think the Bluenose had that much slope, but it does. So, filler block's done. Might tweak it a little bit as I do the planking, but boy, it's not going to take very much. The second thing I did, and I'm going to share my failures along with my successes here, I put in the stiffeners for the bulkheads. The directions say put one in each of the spaces. Well, I thought that was overkill, and I still think it is. But while I was doing that, while I was putting the stiffeners in, I was putting too much pressure on the bulkheads. Some of them weren't exactly the same distance apart from each other, and I had to kind of force it and twist it to get it square, and I popped 2 of those bulkheads off. And then I thought, wow, remember how I bragged in the first 2 videos about a combination of hot glue and carpenter's glue? Well, that didn't work. They're solid now because of the stiffeners, but I'll tell you, that was frustrating when those popped off. Next time I do this, and I'm hoping I'll be able to, I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy, and I'm sure that will hold. The problem, there were 2 problems actually. The first problem is there's very, very little glue surface there, so you can't put a whole lot of glue on them. Secondly, I didn't follow the directions. The directions said to lay it down flat, lay the spline down flat, and fit in each bulkhead and stiffener at the same time. That will ensure that the bulkhead lies square with the spline, and it'll be even with the top, and no popping off. I didn't do that. I didn't read it correctly. I would have had I read it correctly. So I had problems with it popping off. Anyway, I thought I'd share that. Don't use hot glue and carpenter's glue. It just doesn't work. Okay, that's my stiffeners story. Now I'm putting in also, you can see here all these elastic bands. Hope that's in the shot anyway. I'm putting in what they call the Carlin. Now, the Carlin, as best I can figure it out, the directions aren't real good on that part. It's a waste board. you don't see it, but it's there, and it makes the edge, I suppose that's got a nautical term to it, but it makes the edge of the ship a little stiffer. You know, can take a bump. So there are two main decks here, or two decks. There's the quarter deck here, and above beyond the step, this is the main deck. So there are carlins for each side of those two decks. Now I've got one on. Notice the elastic bands. They're a godsend when you're doing the carlin. I tried to do it by putting a little bit of glue on and holding it. Then I'd have to bend it down a little tad, and that would pop off when I did this one, and oh God, all the way up the line. So I thought, oh, I'll try to clamp it, but my clamps wouldn't work. I didn't have the right kind. So I thought, well, let's try elastic bands, and boy, there the cat's meow. Now you can only do one side of a deck at a time, but still, that's the way to do it. So if you're going to do this at any time, I don't know if anybody's following this or not, doesn't really matter, but if you do want to try a Bluenose build, get yourself a package of elastic bands. Be well worth your while. Now, I guess that's about all I wanted to talk about. I will try to come back today and show you all the carlins on. It'll just be for a second or two. I realized after it was all, everything was all together here, that those notches you see there that the carlins fit in, my bandsaw has a bit of a wobbly blade. I tightened it up for this project, but it still wobbles, and I didn't get it exactly right, those notches. I didn't get them right dimensions. So I've been sanding and sanding and sanding, and you know, it's really frustrating. And I realized there's a way of doing it so that each one is exactly the same. One cut. You have to put all these blocks, these together as square blocks, and cut them on your table saw. You have to be very, very careful. Maybe use your panel cutter or something like that to hold these and hold them in place. But I thought that would be the way to do it. Now, mind you, you'd have to reposition each one to do the other side. But boy, I'll tell you, when I do this again, if God willing, that's the way I'm going to do it. And I won't have any of this foolish sanding. Okay, I'm going to leave you now, and as I say, I might come back and just show you the four carlin strakes. Carlin strakes. That's what they're called. So, if I don't get back, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back for just one last little bit here. I got the carlin strakes in. As you can see, there's on the sides here. Now, I had a little trouble with it. I noticed that one of the strakes on, let me see, on right here, has ridden up. You see, I don't know if you would be able to see those notches or not, but right in there, the strake has ridden up. That's telling me that bulkhead number 7 here is wrong. I went back to the plans, and I put my plans on, and they're perfect. So I went back to the original, and I retraced it and put it on, and I've made a mistake. This end of bulkhead number 7 is low, and I don't know if you can notice it here, but that's low too. So I've got to, I can do one of two things. I can either use shims when I do the decking, or I can take those out. I don't want to take those out because they're in there with stiffeners now, and the carlins. And I think what I'll do is I'll put shims in. If I look along the line of the carlin, it's good. It's not that the carlin's wrong. It's only distorted in this one place because I screwed up with, whoops, not that one. I screwed up with this bulkhead. So I got to fix that. I'm not sure how to handle the fact that I don't have any wood in there. I've got to put a step beam in going across like so, you know, to make this the step down in the deck nice and solid. But I don't have anything to hook it onto. There's nothing there. I went to the plans, and I guess that's another one of those things they left to my discretion. They don't really explain how you put that beam in, and they don't tell you when to do it. So, you know, or I should say, I don't know when to do it. I've got a diagram of it, but the sequence is wrong. It seems to me that that beam should have gone in before the carlin, along with the bulkheads. But anyway, I didn't do that, so I'm this far. I'm not going to do a lot of changing. Watch out for that, though, if you happen to do this particular model with these plants. When I come back again for number 4, I guess it will be, I'm going to talk about my wood. I cut this wood myself, and it's really good stuff. It's white cedar, eastern white cedar, but it, you know, you're talking about a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, things like that. And my table saw just isn't that accurate. Not a bad table saw, but between a combination of me and the table saw, it's not that accurate. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge as well. Anyway, there's my carlin strakes. So we'll see you again next time if you find this at all useful. Have a good day.